Have you noticed people wearing a watch upside down? If yes, then you must be thinking why people would wear it under the wrist. Is there any logic behind it, or is it just a fashion trend? From time to time, you may have observed military personnel, nurses, businessmen, and sportspersons wearing timepieces backward of the wrist. Let me tell you, they aren't wearing the watch upside down just for the sake of it. Well, there are some hidden facts that you need to know why some individuals from a specific field like the military do this. In this video, I'm going to answer all of your questions. But before we move any further, I request you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon to stay updated on wearable tech videos. Let's start with some of the simple reasons why most users wear the watch under the wrist even if their career doesn't require them to. Some watch wearers prefer wearing their watch upside down to avoid the sun's glare on the watch face. This helps the wearer to read the time outside in the bright environment, which is helpful while enjoying the weekend at the beach. Also, some individuals find it easy to unhook the watch this way, as when the watch clasp is on the upside of the wrist, it can be opened without any extra effort. You may find this reason crazy, but that's what some wearers find to be more comfortable. Talking about the domain-specific reasons, let's start with why military forces wear the timekeeper upside down. Everyone knows that a small mistake during a mission can result in a life or death situation. To avoid those small errors, armed forces need to wear their watches upside down. Watch is one of the important companions of military personnel in war zone or assignments. A military man always needs to track the time while targeting his gun on the enemy. Even he can't take time to flick his wrist just to check the time. While on active duty, military personnel need to keep their hand on the trigger and also keep track of the time at the same time. They also need to stay in touch and relay the correct time of the target's arrival and departure. That's why they have to wear the watch upside down, as it makes the time easy to read while holding the gun in a tactical position. The second reason is they can't advertise their position to the enemy during a mission, as the reflection from the watch glass can blow their cover. If the light beams are reflected on the wall from the watch's glass, then it may deliver an idea about the location of the officer during critical situations. So, it is necessary to avoid the possible mistakes in the scenario, or the results can be very dangerous. While armed forces risk their lives, medical staff works hard to save lives. And we have witnessed valuable contributions they have made during the pandemic. When hospitals were overcrowded, they still needed to ensure they worked efficiently and accurately as they did before. So they need to be very careful while checking up the pulses or blood pressure of the patient. And watches help the nurses do just that, as they need to keep track of seconds while measuring your pulses or blood pressure. Wearing the watch upside down ensures that she doesn't have to flick the watch again and again for every new patient. It also ensures that nurses can comfortably hold the blood pressure machine's pump and track the time at the same time comfortably. This prevents the nurse from making an error, and I am sure you would want the same. Have you been in an interview, presentation, or political meeting? Most of the businessmen and politicians wear watches backwards on their wrist. Do you know why? Assume that a businessman or politician is attending a meeting and he needs to check the time because of his tight schedule. If he flicks his wrist after every few minutes, then it may be insulting to other participants. To avoid this awkward situation, they wear the timepiece under their wrist so they can easily track the time without getting noticed by the members of the meeting. Moving to sports domain. Do you have a friend in the sports? Have you ever seen him wearing a smartwatch under the wrist and haven't questioned him? I have an interesting answer to why he would be wearing his timepiece this way. As you know, smartwatches come with fitness features like calorie burn calculator, activity tracking, training stats, heart rate monitor, and more. These features can be activated by voice commands without doing any manual setups. But during running, it becomes hard to use the voice assistant of the smartwatch. Moreover, if a person falls while playing a game, then the crown can get easily pressed by mistake. Accidental pressing of buttons can pause the activity tracking profile, which results in incomplete tracking of sports activity. That's why a sports person wears a smartwatch opposite which keeps the crown on the left side. Not only big domain individuals, but daily wage workers also wear the watches upside down. You would be thinking that I am kidding, but I have a good answer for this as well. We know that mechanics and construction workers need to use heavy tools for the whole day. In this case, a single hit can easily damage their watch completely, and a worker can't afford to buy a new watch every other day. So, they need to protect their timepieces in every possible way. That's why they wear their watches under the wrist. These are some very specific and important reasons regarding each domain. However, you don't need to be military personnel or fashion enthusiasts to wear the watch the way you want. Many of us do things differently because we prefer it that way and sometimes just to grab attention. So, wear your watch in any way you want to, or whatever makes you most comfortable. Now it's time for me to leave, but don't forget to like this video and tell us in the comment section, how do you prefer to wear your watches? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on wearable tech.